All right, so today we're doing variation, and I want to look at four different types of variation: direct, inverse, joint, and combined. And all four of these types of variation are going to have different formulas. So let's take a look at those four. The first one I wanted to look at was direct variation. Direct variation. This one is going to have the equation y equals k times x. Now, it's important to know that k is going to be a number. K is going to be a number. It's going to be called the constant of variation. The constant of variation. So we're going to be relying on that k value a lot. So if k is a number, what are x and y? Those are going to be variables. So x is going to be a variable, and y is going to be a variable. Okay, so that's direct variation. An interesting way to think about it is that k and x are directly beside each other. So that's what we mean by direct variation. Now, the second type of variation is called inverse variation. Now, the formula for inverse variation is going to be the opposite of the first one. So for the first one, we were multiplying k by x, but here we're going to be dividing k by x. So we're going to have k divided by x, where k is in the numerator and x is in the denominator. We can also write this as x times y equals k. So that's another way to think about it. If you multiply both sides by x, that is what you would get. X times y equals k. The third type that we're going to talk about today is joint variation. Joint variation. Now, joint variation is a little bit different from the first two because it's going to actually have three different variables instead of two. So the formula for joint variation is going to be y equals k times x times z. So you have x, y, and z as variables, but k as a number or a constant. Notice that in joint, all three are multiplied by each other. So we have k times x times z. And then the last one is combined variation. Combined variation. And this can be a combination of two or more different types of variation. So if we combine direct and inverse, we would have something like this: y equals k times x over z. What you'll notice about this is that on top we have direct variation. And then on the bottom, we have the variable z, which lets us know that this is also an inverse variation with respect to z. So those are the four different types of variation, and we're going to be using all four to solve variation problems.